okay? Now, let's talk about essay writing, okay? You would have seen these before. They are the 4 assessment criteria that VCAA use for your SACs, okay? So in this case, the SAC here is the analytic text response, okay? Number 1 here is you must know the text, okay? Anyone who tells you, I didn't read it and I got an A+, no, don't believe you. No. I thoroughly disagree, okay? You need to know your text and know it well. So have a read of it the once. Don't just read it once. I always say a text should be annotated, okay? So my poor old text is very dog-eared. It's written all over. It's got different coloured post-it notes for different themes, all sorts of things, okay? You need to know the text. And have a look at this. Explicit and implied values. Explicit means you have to comprehend what is being written, what happened. Then you need to make inferences. Inferences are looking for the hints and interpreting those hints, okay? Not just what's written on the page, but what that means. What does it hint at? What does it infer, okay? So you need to do that. Okay, I keep trying to touch the screen thinking that it's a touch screen. It's not. Okay, you need to have a look at the features of a text. Okay, so understand a text is a construction. Okay, so this is about textual evidence. Okay, and this relies on you understanding the broad range of features of a text. Okay, they include things like, I wish I could change the colour of this. I think I can. Yay, green. Green, okay. They include things like genre, style, they include structure, they include narration. This is third-person narration, okay. They include characterisation, setting, they include literary techniques, etc. So there's so many things you need to consider there, okay? The third criteria is language use, okay? And you would have talked about that with Anthony today. Your use of language is really important. Now, I'm going to say it a million times, your vocabulary needs to be broad. One way in which you can broaden your vocabulary is read for pleasure, okay? Not everyone does that. I totally understand. So if you don't broadly read for pleasure, that means read stuff that you don't have to read, that you want to read. I'm going to suggest a very pragmatic solution. Pragmatic means practical. Practical solution are word banks. Okay, and so what you're getting at the moment in the Unit 3 lectures is you're getting word banks, and you're getting a word bank that's related to the form of task. So there's one for analytic text responses, there's one for comparative, there's one for analysing argument. You need to have one for the form of assessment. So there is words and phrases that you use when you're writing an analytic text response. So this is analytic text response. And 2, the language of the text. Okay? So the language you're going to be using, Austenate or Austen-like language here, okay? You're going to have to use some of the terms that she uses to demonstrate that you understand that. So thinking about that glossary I showed you before, thinking about those word banks that are evident in the lectures that are going on at the moment. If you're not sure, come along to some of the masterclasses and have a look at what this might mean. I suggest at this stage, you're entering Year 12 or you're doing Unit 3 and 4, you might be in Year 11. that you need to be as strategic and practical as you can be to up this, okay? Now, it's not just about the VCE English, okay? It's not at all. It's about becoming an articulate writer, someone who can actually express themselves. And when your writing gets better, so too does your speech, okay? So this is something that you actually carry with you throughout your life, okay? And finally, you need to be able to do the structure, the grammar. Okay, so this is about the cohesion of your argument. Okay, that kind of stuff's really important. And so can I ask you to all nominate, what's one thing from these four that you think, oh, that's something I really need to work on? What's something you need to work on? Let's have a look. I dare you to write something in the chat function to show me that you are still with me. What's something that you'd like to work on? Yep, language, I get it. And that's a really common focus, and it's a really good one. Why? You can see gains in it. This is the sort of thing that's it's not just about language though, it's about analytic thinking and writing, okay? Everyone goes, oh, let's talk about essay structure. Yes, structure is important, without doubt, but so too is using the language to analyse, okay? So this is something that you can actually target. So too, Andrew, your knowledge of the text, you can target it. You can target it. I'm going like this, but I mean to go like this. So this is reading broadly about the novel as well as reading the novel. So become a voracious reader of different study guides. Your teacher will have a range of them. Some of them you'll love, some of them you won't love, okay? Become an accessor of all of the TSFX online free resources. You know, Freebie Friday, you get freebies every Friday. We've got a whole range of sample essays that you can use. I'm not suggesting you copy them, but you borrow the things in the language and the knowledge of the text that you see that you think could really help you, okay? So they're really good aims. My next suggestion to you is, what is your strategy? You're going to hate me saying this because it's so school. What is your SMART goal to be able to do this? Okay, it's one thing to say, I'm going to work on my language. My question is how? Okay, so there's a few things that you can do to work on your language. Word banks are one of them. Reading all of the study guides and having a broad knowledge of the text is another. Okay, so too is practice writing. And your practice writing doesn't have to be whole essays. At this point, it can focus on events or it can focus on characters because we're at that entry level of the text, okay? Later on, you expand to themes, okay? Then you have a look at a broader range of ideas that are related to an essay, okay? I'm hoping it makes sense and I'm not just harping on. I don't want to be the person who's harping on. Now, there are three types of essay questions. I'm sure that you know this already. Propositional, quotation, and direct question. The easiest way to talk about the difference between these is to have a look at some essay questions. So let's jump to the essay questions that are in the booklet. Pardon me, I've got the old scratchy throat going on page 59. So can you turn to page 59 of your handout, please? So we've got a range of practice essay topics here. You should have a broader range in your teacher. I mean, in later booklets, we've got 50, 60 of these, okay? I always say to my students to do a range of different forms of questions, so prepositional, quotation and question, and also to make sure that you do a different range. So you want some character questions, you want some theme questions, you want that kind of stuff. And Albert, creating your own word bank is legendary. It's the only way to go. And what you do is you take all of the stuff out there and you craft it. You actually sort of synthesize it into something that you can use. Okay, so picking up on a mistake that I made because I wrote this list, this should have inverted commas there. Pride and Prejudice shows that class is not an accurate indicator of character. Discuss. That's propositional. One of the things that'll tell you it's propositional is the single inverted commas and the fact that it's not a quote from the novel. Okay, it's not a direct quote. If it was a direct quote, I would see double quotation marks. The double quotation marks indicate verbatim, word for word. Okay, So this one, this question is a preposition that has an instructional term, discuss. In later sessions for TSFX, we'll talk about what does discuss mean. We'll talk about, does it mean weighing up? Does it mean agreeing? Does it mean disagreeing? And I'm going to give you, in later sessions, I talk about the yes, yes, no, or the yes, yes, but, or the no, but. We'll talk about all sorts of different structures for engaging with this notion of discussing, okay? The second one is a combo. You've got the preposition followed by a direct question, okay? To what extent do you disagree? Oh, my Lord. To what extent do you agree? Okay, so if we think about a spectrum, okay, where 0% to 100%, do you think the essay is inviting you to 100% agree? Yes. Elizabeth's forthrightness and independence is absolutely and only an attack on the conservatism of characters. Am I supposed to 100% agree? No, 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 no. Okay. What we want you to do is make a call along the spectrum. Okay. Do you agree to a significant extent? To a certain extent? To a marginal extent? So too, they're not asking you to say, nah, not at all, okay? They're inviting you to do an essay that basically does either a yes, yes, no, or a yes, no, no, okay? Yes, I agree that this is in the text. However, it's more than that. Let me give you some other related ideas, okay? So the extent to which I agree will drive my focus. If I agree significantly, I'm going to use the yes, yes, no. If I agree less so, I'm going to use the yeah, I can certainly see that is one viable interpretation. However, let's have a look at these two other things. Okay, so the yes, no, no. Okay, another way that I've seen this is they can do pro cons. So pro means I'm pro that and con means no. I just use yes and no because I think the language is really, really clear. Okay. So the next question is propositional. Marriage rather than love is the central theme of Pride and Prejudice. I can certainly see that for some people, marriage is very important and instrumental, but I'd probably for that one do a yes, no, no. How do the 5 Bennett sisters reflect the different values and attitudes of women at this time? Direct question. Let's see if we have any quotational questions here. So this is a quotational one here. Okay, I can see the double quotation marks and I can see that there are 2 quotes here. You can sometimes get 2 quotes, okay? In marrying your nephew, I should not consider myself as quitting that sphere. He is a gentleman. I am a gentleman's daughter. So far, we are equal. Now, hopefully, in the exam or the SAC, you know who said that. It's Lizzie, okay? And you know who says the next thing. The retort comes from Lady de Burgh. True, you are a gentleman's daughter, but who was your mother? Who are your uncles and aunts? Do not imagine me ignorant of their condition. Wow, powerful. Discuss the importance of social class. Okay, so that's fantastic. I'm just going to stop for a second because I can see a question here that I think is relevant. Does yes, yes, no represent the viewpoints of the 3 paragraphs? Yep, but I'm not going to write yes. I'm going to have a structured argument. I'm going to show you one in a moment, okay? But you're right, absolutely. Yep, they become my topic sentences. And they're not, I agree because, I also agree because, I disagree. They're far more sophisticated than that. But yes, that's the answer to that one. Okay, so I've got some questions here. And learning about what the questions are inviting us to do is interesting. Okay, so if you have a look at this marriage theme, marriage, marriage, over and over again. Characters. So this says characters here, but this is a bit of a dangerous question. Because I get worried that my students look at this and go, explore the way Jane Austen uses characters. And what they'll do is they'll explore 3 characters instead of looking at women. and different representations of women. And my examples of the representations are different characters, okay? So that's quite interesting as well.